As we slowly move forward into the next phase of the MCU, many are wondering who the next villain will face the Avengers after Thanos. It's important to remember that it took 10 years to build up to Avengers Infinity War, so the next formidable opponent needs to be someone with plenty of depth to explore over several years. Rushing to reach those dizzying heights of Endgame would only cheapen the universe. So, with that in mind, could Doctor Doom enter the MCU through Black Panther 2 as the next big villain? Just who is Doctor Doom anyway? Well, he's an incredibly gifted scientist from Latveria who meddled with sorcery and science after the death of his mother to protect the citizens of his homeland. After leaving the country to study in New York, he met his rival, Reed Richards. Mr. Fantastic attempted to stop Victor from creating a machine that could commune with the dead, but predictably, he did it anyway. But it literally blew up in his face. Scarred forever, Victor created his iconic suit of armor, completing his rise to villainy. He's gone up against most of the Marvel Universe at various times in the comics, and even working with them on numerous occasions. Cool backstory, but why could Doctor Doom appear in Black Panther 2? Well, firstly, because he overthrew Wakanda in the incredible Doom War storyline back in 2010. The villain wanted to get his hands on the vast vibranium reserves the country has. And since Wakanda was revealed to the world in the first Black Panther film, it would definitely catch Victor's eye. The precious metal not only has limitless technological capabilities, but it also has mystical properties that interest Doctor Doom. It's a brilliant story that sees the villain infect the food and water supply with nanites, turning everyone in the palace into living cameras. Using a group of dissidents, Doom stages a coup to make Wakanda his own. He's largely successful until Black Panther and Shuri team up with a number of other heroes like the X-Men and the Avengers. The only problem is that it's thematically a little similar to the first film, which saw Killmonger overthrow T'Challa as king. But since the MCU has proved it can brilliantly adapt iconic stories to suit the universe, it would only need a few changes to make it work. Instead of Doom taking over the country, it would be great to see him just go after the vibranium in any way he can. In keeping with his character, his aspirations of world domination could easily be teased throughout the sequel. Since in Doom War, he only wants to conquer the planet to protect it and let it thrive. And following the dramatic events of Infinity War and Endgame, it makes sense that someone with an ego like Doctor Doom would think of himself as the world's only savior. Think anti-Tony Stark. But, much like Thanos, this would establish Victor as an understandable villain. And, just to be clear, this should only be Doom's first appearance in the MCU. If you've watched our previous videos, then you know Namor was teased in Endgame, with Atlantis seemingly confirmed to exist close to the African coast. It wouldn't be surprising to see Doom engineer a war between the two nations to distract the world from Latveria's rise to power. Or even just to keep T'Challa and the Wakandan forces occupied while he steals vibranium from the country. But with Ryan Coogler at the helm of Black Panther 2, we're pretty confident that whoever the villain is will be a worthy match for T'Challa and Shuri. But come on, picture Doctor Doom and T'Challa arguing over how to best rule a country or about the definition of being a hero. Plus, Doom has his mystical abilities in the MCU. That would mean Black Panther would need to bring his A-game. First off, we know Kevin Feige has a plan to introduce all the characters Marvel acquired from Fox into the MCU over the next few years, including the Fantastic Four. Who better to duel Marvel's first family than their most iconic nemesis? Victor is a dedicated scientist and constantly uses his skills to better Latveria while protecting its people. That doesn't mean he's a nice guy, since he also has an endless horde of Doombots to help him steal or recover technology for his next nefarious scheme. The comic established Latveria as an Eastern European country, much like Sokovia in Avengers Age of Ultron. Wouldn't it be fun to see the Doombots come from stolen Ultron drones? It would help establish the villain's place in the universe while tying back to previous stories. Plus, it's not the first time Marvel has linked back to previous films with motivations and plot points for villains. We're looking at you, Mysterio and Far From Home. But what could all this build to? Secret Wars. Well, more importantly, the 2015 Secret Wars. Yeah, okay, we know some fans aren't keen on it, but it's a brilliant Doom story. He battles the Beyonders to save the universe, before piecing together a new battle world with strange versions of our favorite heroes. He becomes God Emperor Doom, ruling over the remains of the multiverse. It's a little different from the classic Secret Wars, but this would be a way of getting all the heroes back on screen with a new focus on characters like Doctor Doom, Mr. Fantastic, and Black Panther. The most impressive fight in the book sees Black Panther take on Doom using an army of the dead. T'Challa even wields the Infinity Gauntlet for a short time. If the MCU scatters Victor's appearances across a few films after Black Panther 2, bringing their arc to a close with a final, supercharged fight in Secret Wars would be so satisfying. It would also be a way of Marvel bringing back characters they've killed in previous films. Now, we're not saying revive Tony Stark, his death perfectly closed his arc. But for villains like Killmonger, Ultron, or even Thanos, this could be a way of briefly bringing them back to the big screen. And let's face it, who doesn't want to see Doctor Doom rip out Thanos' spine? Crazy. But while we wait for Black Panther 2 and Doctor Doom, tell us in the comments which of his costumes is your favorite. Make sure to keep your eye on Heroic Hollywood for all the latest entertainment news, subscribe to the channel, and check out our other videos. Thank you for watching.